Coach, can I ask you a question? When your athletes hear your voice, do they play freer or do they play tighter? One question, one answer. It might determine whether your athletes reach their full potential. I just watched a powerful message from Jon Gordon, and I think every coach and every parent needs to hear this. If you don't know who Jon Gordon is, he is a very powerful speaker and he's very sought after. He speaks to NFL teams and NBA teams and Major League Baseball teams. He's written over 30 books. 18 of them are bestsellers. One of them is The Power of Positive Leadership. And in this video we're going to watch, he's talking with his daughter and how the parent relationship affects the child, which is perfect for boot camp mindset because we have general orders that help the parent, the child, and you'll hear in this that the coach wasn't very good and didn't get all that he could out of his athletes because of the way he coached. So I'm going to start this. We're going to pause it many times and talk about it, and we'll talk about the general orders that boot camp mindset has. But let me pull this up.
So when I was born, my dad held me in his arms and he said, D1 lacrosse player.
It's a true story. I played lacrosse at Cornell University, and I actually played here against Notre Dame, and it's great to be back. And when she was born, I wanted her to be a lacrosse player because I was a lacrosse player. And so the challenge was, though, when she was on the field as a young athlete and young player, she really didn't know what was going on in the game because she was sitting around looking at the sky as the game was going on. I thought, this is a problem. And so she wasn't much of a lacrosse player, but I would encourage her and I would have catches with her. And eventually she started to get better, started to improve. And so we would play in the backyard. I'm like, okay, maybe she can play. And then she started to get a little bit serious with the lacrosse, of course, because I was driving her to play more and more and also to practice. And then it got to a point when she was around middle school where she was playing and I was not really encouraging a whole lot. Whenever she would make a mistake, I would actually criticize. When she would do something well, I would expect it. I wasn't a great leader. I was the opposite of a purposeful, positive leader. I was actually
Okay, let's pause it right there and get into one of the boot camp mindset general orders for parents. And here it is. Here is general order number 1 for parents. I will encourage my athletes on their hard days. Love strengthens expectations. So through our general orders that we have for parents and through our program, let me pull that up real quick. Our program that we have, and just so you know, there we go. So we have a program, a 21-day challenge for coaches, parents, and athletes. And the whole goal is to get the full potential for the child as they climb up. The parent's role is support, encourage, and then the coach's leadership, and then the child is just trying to grow. But again, all these general orders, they help everyone. And when all of them are aligned, when the coach is aligned, and when the parent is aligned, the child can grow and be the athlete to reach its full potential. And that's the goal of Boot Camp Mindset, the 21-day mindset challenge. But let's keep going into this.
in many ways a negative leader, like so much so that she went to her mom and she said, I'm done playing. I'm quitting. And you know what? She wasn't quitting lacrosse. She was quitting me.
That phrase is powerful right there. She wasn't quitting lacrosse. She was quitting her dad because he put so much pressure on her. If you're a parent listening to this, what kind of parent are you? Again, in our program that we have, the 21-day bootcamp mindset challenge, we have a journal that's part of it where you can assess yourself, where you're at, what kind of parent you are, what the relationship with your child is. And it's so important. And you're going to see that later on, this relationship gets better. But right now, it is not. And I've done this. I've put so much pressure on my child. Oh my goodness. This is a very easy thing to do. But let's keep watching.
And the kind of leader that I was. And so that was a really difficult moment. My wife said, all right, you're done. I'm taking over and let's see what happens. I think she'll play once again. I said, I hope so, but I've got to change. And so I read a great book by Joe Ehrman called Inside Out Coaching. And it was all about being a transformational leader instead of a transactional leader. And so I read this book and it's like, okay, I've got to be more of a transformational leader. I've got to be more impactful. It's not about her playing well so I look like a great dad. You see, I always got my recognition and my rewards through athletics. And so that's how I got my praise. That's how I got my identity. So now I was getting my identity as a parent through my daughter's performance. If she
Whoa, that's another. Oh, that's huge. That is something that is hard for parents. They do that a lot. Their identity through their kids, and that's why they put the pressure on them. Man, that's something I can identify with. Great point here. This is just a great clip, and it has so much in it for parents and coaches. And we'll get to the coach here in a little while.
played well, if she was a great player, then I was a great parent. So I can walk around with the other parents and say, oh, look how great I am as a parent. And I realized it had nothing to do with me as a leader. It had everything to do with her becoming who she was meant to be. And my job as a leader was to encourage her. My job was to support her. And that's all I had to do was focus on doing that. So I completely changed. And then as she started playing again, because she agreed to play again, and I agreed to change, I saw her then start to develop. And then she's now on the 9th grade team. And she makes varsity. She's 9th grade, but she makes varsity. So she went from 9th grade team to making varsity. It was a big deal. And then she's a starter. But then she makes a couple of mistakes and the coach benches her. And this coach was like the way I used to be, or even 10 times worse. Like he was the ultimate negative coach. Like you wouldn't believe, he was so negative. And so I had to be the opposite to him even more. I had to encourage her all the time.
And if you're a coach listening to this, that what I said, the question when I started with, you know, are your kids, do they play freer or do they play tighter? You know, they have an opportunity to reach their full potential, and your coaching style, that is your coaching style is going to affect that. And we have general orders for coaches as well, as I said earlier. And one of the general orders for the coach is I will control my emotions before I correct others. My action teach long after my words do. That is one of the general orders that we have for coaches. And in our program, just give you a little bit about it, is you're going to review these in the morning, these general orders. And that frames your mind for the day of how you're going to be a coach, how you're going to react with the kids. And they have general orders and the parents have general orders. And it's just an awesome thing to get all these, the parents and the coach and the athlete on the same page. So let's keep going in this. But again, reflecting on how you coach your players is very important.
I was supporting her through that tough time when she was benched. Jade, it's okay. Him yelling at you, it's going to make you stronger in the long run. You're going to learn how to deal with negative people, a negative boss one day. Like it's going to make you stronger. You just keep on working on your game. You keep on getting better. So I kept on encouraging her in that way. 10th grade, she is now.
So real quick point there, you can use sports to help your kid be an adult. It's huge because they're going to face things that are unfair. And if you just throw a fit and don't encourage them in the right way as a parent, it's not going to help them in the long run. You got to think about the future. You got to think about what this child is going to be, what things are going to be in the future. So you're thinking of them when they have a family and things are hard and those kind of things. So put that in perspective as a parent.
Starter again, make some mistakes, and then she gets benched again. So then I start encouraging her even more, supporting her, and I start telling her, Jade, you are unstoppable, Jade. You take it to the cage, because she was really good, but she was so hesitant. She was so fearful of messing up, of getting yelled at by the coach. The coach's daughter was on the team and she yelled at Jade as well. So there was a negative vibe going on all the time. So she was always dealing with that. So she never.
This brings up another point. What you allow on the team to happen as a coach affects everyone as well. You got to find ways to deal with these kind of problems. And you can see that the coach's daughter has the same mindset or way to handle things as a coach does. And it's not helpful. Your job as a coach is to get that team to play the best that they can play. And you got to figure out how to do that. Every team's different. Every team has different kind of players. And you got to invest in those players and figure out how to get that team to reach their full potential. And it's going to benefit you as a coach. Once you do that, you're going to be a better coach. You're going to have more wins. And it's going to look better for you as a coach. There's so much into this. We better keep going and we'll never get through it.
Never wanted to actually go for it because then she might mess up and then get yelled at. So I became that opposite positive force. Jade, you're unstoppable, Jade. You're unstoppable. Now here's the deal. I'm telling her she's unstoppable, but she's very stoppable. And very hesitant and fearful. And so she plays during the season here and there, but doesn't do anything remarkable. Junior year, we're now back and we're in the backyard and we are playing and she's getting really good and I can't stop her. Like I can no longer stop her. She's blowing by me. We're doing dodges and I'm playing defense and she is just blowing by me scoring, but she would never do it on the field. She was always fearful and hesitant. So I kept on saying, Jade, you're unstoppable, Jade. You're unstoppable. And I'll never forget the moment she came to me. She said, Dad, I am going to be unstoppable today. I am going for it in this game. We're in Orlando. She takes it to the cage. She's running down the field. She is going for it. And a girl takes her head off with the stick, knocks her down. She's laying on the floor. I'm like, this is not good. Later on, when she came to, she's like, Dad, I thought I was unstoppable. I said, you are, just not today. But you will be in the future, I promise. You got this. It's amazing when you decide to go for it. You decide to be positive. You're like, okay, I'm going to be unstoppable. I'm going to live this. I'm going to have courage. I'm going to be courageous. It's amazing how the minute you decide to do that, you will get tested and you will face adversity. Have you experienced that?
And that's very true. That's very true. You will be tested. But that's where you can show your child, or if you're the coach or the player, that's where you can show that just keep going, because that's what life is about. That's what building business is about. That's what being an athlete's about, because you're going to get knocked down. You're going to have struggles. You're going to have problems, all those things. But getting back up and keep going is part of the process. And you're teaching your athlete, if you're the coach, your child, if you're the parent, and if you're the athlete, of just pushing through, just keep going. And that's something that's needs to be instilled in an athlete, because life is not easy. So let's go back.
That you leave an event like this, I'm going to live my purpose, and then you face challenges and obstacles. Happens all the time. She was going for it, but she faced this big test, this obstacle. After she recovered, she gets back on the team, still being hesitant, still being fearful. Jade, you're unstoppable, Jade. I'm telling you, you're unstoppable. The way you took it in that game, do that again. You will be strong. You will be powerful. You are unstoppable. Something interesting happens. Her teammate, who was always being negative, the coach's daughter, she gets injured, so she can no longer play. And so Jade looks around and sees her team. She wants her team to win because she wants to be her best for them. She's like, we need to win. We want to go to the state championship. I've got to help my team. Next thing you know, Jade starts to take it to the cage and starts going for it. She scores 2 goals, then 3 goals, then 4 goals, 5 goals. And then here we are at the district championships. And next thing you know, she scores 8 goals to take her team to the Final Four of the state. And I'm watching this and I'm going, wow, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe this is happening. So we're not talking about this to brag about Jade's performance. Trust me, it was a miracle seeing what she was doing. Jade, you're unstoppable, Jade. Go to the cage, Jade. You are unstoppable. Final four. She scores 7 goals to take her team to the state championships to play in that final four and that final championship. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. She's named an All-American at the end of the season. She scores 80 goals that season. A girl who was hesitant and fearful. I saw the power of a positive leader. I saw the power of telling someone they're unstoppable and then watching her actually go live it and breathe it and then become it. And she truly became unstoppable. Now, the interesting thing about that is when she started speaking, she was fearful. She was scared to do it. She's going to tell you more about that story in a second, but what I tell her when she was fearful and scared, what I say to her, Jade, you are. I kept on saying, Jade, you're unstoppable, Jade. And I also added this, you are impactful. You're unstoppable and you are impactful. You're unstoppable and you are impactful.
Let's think about that. Your goal as a parent is to really impact your child. And as a coach is to impact that child for the future, because they're going to live a long time after their playing days are done. They're going to be leaders of companies. They're going to be in the military like me. And they're going to do a lot of things in their life way beyond that game that you win or lose. And he's feeding his daughter some real powerful stuff, some real positive stuff, some stuff that's going to help her in life for a long, long time, which is awesome. And let me ask you, do you have that mindset? Is that you? Do you do that? I mean, if you really reflect on your coaching style, your parenting style, is that you? And that's only you can answer that question.
And I started saying that over and over again. And I watched her get out there and start speaking and become impactful. I watched her find her purpose. And I realized that's our job as leaders, to help people live their purpose. It's our job as parents to not have our kids be what we want them to be, but to help them become all that they are meant to be. I didn't choose this career for her. I never thought she would do it. But now to see her do it and live this purpose, I see the power of positive leadership and the power of living your purpose. So I'm telling you that story, and she's going to tell it in a second, but I want you to know that all of you are unstoppable. All of you are impactful. And everyone here, my goal is that when you leave here, our goal in doing this is that you will leave here and you will say, I'm going to live my unstoppable purpose. And I'm going to be unstoppable in living my purpose and making a difference.
All righty. So that was it. I'm going to put a link below to the course that we have, 21-day bootcamp mindset challenge. And I challenge, if you're a coach, if you're a parent, and if you're an athlete, get into that course. And what's cool about it is, as a parent and a child doing it together, they can grow together. And just like Jon and his daughter were able to grow together, and now they speak together, that would be awesome as a parent and a child to be able to just, maybe they work together, maybe they have a business together, and they able, because of the relationship they had in sports, and because the parent was intentional and the coach was intentional and the athlete was intentional, they've built that relationship that's going to stand through the test of time, and they're going to be able to do things that most people won't, because they let their emotions go, or they make the child their identity, and they put so much pressure on them. But that's not you. You're going to do the Bootcamp Mindset Challenge and be different.